Hi everyone, welcome and thank you all for joining today's webinar on Build Mathematical Mindset with Real-Time Applications. My name is Ravali and I'm a part of team here at Turito. I'm joined here by today's speaker, Mr. Vasu, Head of International One-on-One Tutoring Services at Turito, and Mr. Pavan from Student Counselor Department. This webinar is an outreach program by Turito for students to help in developing their learning skills and for parents who are willing to give their children best education. Before we start off, let me give a quick overview of organization. Turito is an e-learning platform and our vision is to provide quality education to every student by well-experienced faculty. Currently, Turito is available in USA, Canada, UK, Middle East, India, Singapore, and Australia regions. And programs offered by Turito are NAPLAN OC and one-on-one tutoring services for maths, science, and English subjects in Australia region. And now here go with Turito exclusives. Turito offers interactive learning methods as per student requirement, regular assessments to track the child's progress, and also doubt clarification sessions for making their concept stronger. Turito also provides parent app access to make you a part of child's learning journey. Moreover, we have top 2% certified educators whom we partnered with to envision our mission. Before getting into the specific, let me offer a quick intro about our today's speaker at today's event. Mr. Vasu is an international one-on-one tutoring head at Turito, and he is a holder of Master of Mathematics and Bachelor of Education with a vast experience of 30 years in education industry. He is an IIT Foundation course content preparation expert and mentored 80,000 plus IIT JEE qualifiers and 4,000 plus SAT and ACT scorers. Thank you, sir. Over to you. And before we start, I request all the parents and students, please feel free to drop your questions at Q&A section because we will be having Q&A session after discussing about the topic. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, warm welcome to everyone. The introduction to maths. Mathematics is a powerful tool that helps to understand the world. It encourages logical reason, critical thinking, creative thinking, and problem-solving ability. Even though everyone learns mathematics at school, it is difficult to define exactly what mathematics is. Clearly, numbers, shapes, and equations form part of it, but only a small part compared to the vast space of mathematical concepts and ideas. The best way to understand what mathematics is and what mathematicians work on is to do mathematics. One idea that appears everywhere is mathematics is abstraction. Instead of thinking about particular numbers, shapes, equations, or any other objects, mathematicians tend to think about their underlying structures and patterns. This means that the results called theorems are more general and provide deeper insight. Another fundamental idea in mathematics is proof. Mathematics cannot just say that an idea is true or test in a few cases. They need a rigorous and watertight argument to decide that it is always true. Maybe this makes mathematicians more difficult than other sciences, but it also means that mathematicians can obtain absolute and definite knowledge, which is impossible in any other discipline. Despite being so abstract and theoretical, mathematics has countless applications in every possible aspect of life. Without mathematics, our civilization would be little more advanced than the ancient Egyptians. We wouldn't have governments funded by a tax system, no phones, no television, no computers, no internet, and no satellite navigation. The cultural value of the monetary economic value of mathematics are too large to measure. Moving ahead, the origin of maths. Mathematics originated from the Greek word meaning tendencies to learn. multiple branches, numbers, geometric forms, algebra, and others. The origin of mathematics accompanied the evolution of social systems. Many social needs require calculations and numbers. Conversely, the calculation of numbers enables more complex relations and interactions between peoples. Numbers and calculation with them require a well-organized operational system. Such systems were perhaps the earliest models of complex, rigorous systems. As we will see, not just one, but several number systems come to us from antiquity. However, an interesting as to the basic notions of counting may be the origin of mathematics include more than just enumeration, counting, and arithmetic. Moving forward, maths in daily life. Now, maths is used in daily life, like study of measurements, numbers, and space. Maths plays a vital role in all aspects of daily life. Examples are time tracking, driving, cooking, or jobs like accounting, finance, banking, engineering, and software. Mathematics is a very useful in everyday life. We use maths concepts as well as the skills we learn from practicing maths problems every day. Mathematics is important for all professions in the world. Every aspect of life is highly dependent on the use of numbers and arithmetic. Mathematics is the language of science. It is used to develop the rest of science and interpret theorems, especially physics, chemistry, astronomy, geography, etc. It enables thinkers to test their ideas by doing many experiments. Moving ahead, now, understanding the basic concepts in lower grades. Now, basic concepts are the foundation to see through maths right from lower grades. In the basic concepts are understood by a child, his or her journey in mathematics will be made easy. Now, for example, if we take the number system, we have right from counting the numbers, we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, what are prime numbers, what are composite numbers, what are natural numbers, what are whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, and complex numbers. As you go into the higher grades in 11th grade or 12th grade, complex number system is included. The first we have the natural numbers, then we have the whole numbers, then we have integers, then we have the rational numbers and the real number system. Apart from this, we have the biggest number system, that is the complex number system. This is the complex number system. So right from the lower grades, when the student understands about natural numbers, whole numbers, what are integers, I or z it is represented by, then you have the rational numbers, real numbers, and this is complex number system. This is the biggest system. In 11th and 12th grades, it is understood. And then we have light from lower grades, algebra is included, where you learn about a variable, a changing constant. What is the coefficient of the variable? What is the constant present in that particular expression or an equation? What is an algebraic equation? So all these things you understand. Then we move on to geometry. Right from the lower grades, lines and angles are introduced. Then in that you will know what is a point, what is a line, what is a ray, what is a line segment, what are angles, what are complementary angles, what are supplementary angles. Then comes parallel lines. Now parallel lines cut by a transversal, where you will understand about corresponding angles, alternate angles, interior angles. All these things we will understand. And then we move on to triangles. Then in this triangles, again, you have the triangles division according to the sides and the angles. Then we have the polygons. In polygons, we have right from square, rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, trapezium, and other polygons. It can be an polygon where if it is a six-sided, it is a hexagon, five-sided, it is a pentagon. So all these, how to find the areas and everything, in this. And then we have the coordinate geometry or the analytical geometry, where you understand how a point is represented on a two-dimensional plane as an ordered pair. Now, there you will understand what is the distance between 2 points, what is the midpoint of the line segment joining. You will understand about the line equations and also the circle. In higher education, you get circle when the center and radius is given, how to write the equation of the circle, or when the circle equation is given, how to get the center and radius. And then we have the parabola, we have the ellipse, and we have the hyperbola in higher education in 12th grades. Now, one has to learn right from the lower grades by keeping a formula book so that you can write all the formulae which are getting in a particular topic so that you can revise them. And when you revise them, if you write without seeing on a piece of paper, what happens is if you correct yourself, then every time when you write, you will not get mistakes and you will remember all the formulae. And this in the journey of mathematics, how this is useful, all the concepts. Now, moving ahead, I'll explain you. Now, how to develop skill in fast calculations. Now, as we have concentrated on the concepts in basic grade, right from the lower grade to the higher grade. Now, in the lower grades, you must have speed drills in addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and having a consolidate all these in one particular, and even having multiplication tables. If you know up till 30, it is very good. And whenever we give problems to the student, the child has to first solve the problem. He has to struggle with the problem to get the solution so that his mind will be able to understand what is given and what is to be found. So a good calculation speed always comes handy while solving maths problems. Often students seem to understand the concepts of various chapters, but still they cannot score well in their math examination. Understanding concepts is not important. Again, application is there. So how to apply, which formula when you are to apply. One of the major problems with many students is keeping the pace during the exam. Mostly students who are not fast with calculations tend to mess up with the sums in the later part of the question paper in the maths exam. Once they start realizing that they are lagging behind during an examination, they start rushing, and rushing end up with a lot of mistakes. So he has to develop fast calculations right from the lower grades, calculating with his head, with his mind. Mental calculations must be applied. Moving ahead, understanding the correlation in some concepts. Now, see, right from the lower grades to the higher grades, there is a lot of correlation in maths subject. Now, some of them I will tell you here that there is a correlation between fractions, decimals, and percentages where we learn in the lower grades. Now, for example, if you have a fraction, how it is represented as a decimal and in percentages. You can go from either from right to left or from left to right. Let us suppose this is 10%. It is understood at a fraction as 1/10. The decimal is 0.1. Now, if you take 20%, 20 by 100, it is 1/5. Now, this can be written as 0.2. Now, you can have 25%. 25% is 1/4. It is 0.25. Now, you can have 33 1/3%. Now, this is nothing but 0.33 recurring. Now, this is 1/3. You have 66 2/3%. Now, this is 2/3. This is 0.66 recurring. So here you can understand what is fraction, decimal, and percentage. Let us suppose in a problem, somebody has asked you 10% of something. So 10% is nothing but 1/10 of that. So easily you can calculate it. So or a fraction is given. So if you can think about these percentages, decimals, and fractions, there is a correlation subject. Now, even you have the correlation between matrices in 11th and 12th grades, you get matrices determinants. Now, this is actually, you have solving problems involving three variables. Now, in this, actually, you have consistency and inconsistency. Now, in consistency, again, you have a unique solution and you have infinite number of solutions. Here, inconsistency is no solution. So this subject matters as determinants is consistency and inconsistency, especially to three variables, can be connected to three-dimensional geometry. Three-dimensional geometry, which is learnt in again in 11th and 12th. Now let us suppose you are dealing with the two variables. In two variables, again, the unique solution will be nothing but it represents a line. Two lines are intersecting. You have one point of intersection. This is a unique solution. You may have in two variables only a single line given to you, then you have infinite number of solutions. Or if parallel lines are given, this will lead to no solution. So this is two-dimensional, this is three-dimensional. See how the subject actually, which is learnt in lower grades, again, you can learn it here. So here, this is actually in higher grades, you learn in 11th and 12th grades. Now this is where you learn in lower grades, especially in 8th grade or 9th grade. Now, again, you have even the correlation between vectors and three-dimensional geometry. Now, many things can be correlated. Here, a unit vector can be understood as the DCs of a line, direction, cosines of a line. Even you have the equations of lines in vectors, which can be analyzed in equations in three-dimensional. Equation of a plane, you can understand it as equation of a plane in three-dimensional. Then you have the angle between a line and a plane in vector algebra can be understood again, the angle between a line and a plane in three-dimensional. There is a lot of correlation between these two. Again, in higher grades, you have the correlation between functions chapter and calculus chapter. Now, for example, if a function is 1, 1, you want to assess. Now, if you can assess that f dash x is greater than 0, increasing strictly, or f dash x is less than 0, which is strictly decreasing. If you draw a line parallel to x-axis, it will cut only at one point. That is a 1, 1 function. So there's a correlation between functions and calculus chapter. So this is how correlation can be made between chapters. So whatever we learn right from every grade, that can be correlated. For example, you have the distributive property, A times B plus C. Now this is AB plus AC. Now one can understand here in the 11th and 12th grades, you get permutation combinations and probability. Now this is nothing but fundamental principle of addition. Here you have a fundamental principle of multiplication. So this can be analyzed. This is actually a basic concept which you get in 3rd grade or 4th grade. This can be enlarged in permutations and combinations or in probability. So this is how there is a correlation between the concepts and maths. Moving ahead, need to have skills and short tips in some concepts. Why? Now, if you have short tips and short skills in analyzing the concepts, getting the answers fast, you can really do very well in competitive examinations, especially in NAPLAN or in SAT. Now, if the concepts are digested in a simpler manner, in a theoretical simpler manner, there is no waste of time to solve a problem. Now, for example, I'll tell you one thing. Here you have the factorization. Now, let us suppose you are factorizing x square minus 4x plus 3. Now, this can be understood as x minus 1 times x minus 3. Now, here, if you write it as y is equal to as a function x square minus 4x plus 3, this split up which you learn can be applicable here. And because the coefficient of x square is positive, this is a parabola which will be having the concavity upwards and it will be cutting like this at 1 and 3. Now, you can understand many concepts in this. One is what is the vertex of this parabola? Second one is what are x-intercepts? Even you can understand what is the distance between the x-intercepts. Now here it is cutting y-axis. So you will learn about the y-intercept. Sorry. So you learn about the y-intercept. This is the y-intercept where it is cutting y-axis. So we have a lot of things which can be developed. So this factorization comes in lower grades. Now this can be understood as a parabola in higher grades. So see how the concepts are built here. So if you know the short tips, if you know the factorization, you can analyze all these concepts very easily. Vertex, x-intercept, distance, y-intercept. Not only that. Now, there is even this can be correlated to a subject of quadratic equations where you can see the nature of the roots. Now, whether the roots are there or not, are the roots existing as a distinct two real roots, or it is only a unique real root, or there is no real roots. All these concepts can be understood. Even when you go into higher grades, let us suppose in 11th grade, in coordinate geometry, you are doing the equation of a circle. Now, when the center and radius is given, how to write the equation of a circle? If one can understand that it is x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square equal to r square, where the center is h comma k and radius is r. And then if the equation of a circle in a general format, it is given to you like this, then extracting the center without writing like this, let us suppose if you can understand the center as minus g minus f. Now, with regard to the x and y coefficients, and radius is root of g square plus f square minus c. Now, this is the short tip of understanding the concept that but directly by seeing the circle, not putting into this form, directly you can get what is center and what is radius. Now, you can have these type of calculation between distance between 2 points. For example, you are getting root of 3 square plus 4 square. This is nothing but 5. This is the Pythagorean triplets. Now, understanding the Pythagorean triplets, 3, 4, 5, these are the legs and this is hypotenuse. Now, you can learn some Pythagorean triplets like this: 7, 24, 25, 5, 12, 13. These are all hypotenuse. So you can even have 9, 40, 41. So all multiples of these are also Pythagorean triplets. So this will give you the answer very easily. Now, for example, if you have a problem like if you have 8% of 50. Now, this is a lower concept actually. It's in percentages. You actually write 8 over 100 into 50, but this can be directly analyzed as 50% of 8. And 50% is half of 8, which is 4. I'm telling a least problem, but it can be a word problem where this concept may come. So you can interchange these two and you can get the answer. For example, you have 4% of 25. This you can analyze it as 25% of 4 and the answer will be 1 because 25% is 1/4. 1/4 of 4 is nothing but 1. So this is how the skills must be developed, the short tips must be developed so that it will be very useful in competitive examinations where you will get less time to solve these kind of problems which are having. Next, moving ahead, how to prepare for performing well in competitive examinations. Now, as I told earlier, the fast calculations which we learn right from lower grades will be very helpful in competitive examinations. Now, for example, a problem demands addition fast or subtraction or multiplication or getting the answer. So if you have all these kind of fast calculations, you can do very well. And most of the competitive examinations, they have MCQs, that is multiple choice questions. And if we solve many problems using mental calculations, doing with our head, the time utilized will be very less and there will be sufficient time to answer the rest of the questions. Eliminating the options from the options which are given also, the time will be very less. So you can solve easily a problem. Let us suppose nowhere you can get an answer which is negative. It must be a positive answer. So then you can say, for example, if you have root over 9, this is actually, many think that this is plus or minus 3. No, this is wrong. Root gives you always a positive answer. So root doesn't give a negative answer. So if you have the options as negative answers and only one is positive like this, that is the answer. Or if you have, let us suppose you are working a problem where it is a fraction and that fraction is less than 1, only one option is less than 1, that is the answer. The other options will not be the answer. So eliminating the options is also very important. What is our answer? What is the idea of getting the answer? That is very important. Next, moving ahead, understanding word problems. Now, this is very important because which are related, they can be of probability, they can be having statistics, they can be having exponentiation, anything. Many students struggle with word problems. The word problems are mostly created to simulate real life situations so that students can relate to them while solving them. Most students get confused while reading and interpreting word problems. Now, first read the word problem. What is given in the problem? Now, what you have to solve? Now, whether you are moving in the, you must have a bird's view of solving the problem. Whether you are moving in the direction to solve the problem, that is very important. The best solution is to break the word problems into simpler parts, take down the information given in each of the sentences of a word problem. Once you have all the information right there on your notebook, you will find it easier to understand the starting point of the calculation. The way to calculate the answer is also hidden in the word problem itself. So you must analyze the problem. That is first it is required. Now, if you can't analyze the problem, break it and then analyze it. Then moving ahead. Now, analyzing graphs. Now, this is very important. A graph is a diagram that is meant to represent data and to portray a result. Now, you have many graphs. For example, you have linear graphs. These are line graphs. Now, if I take a linear graph, this is a line. I'm drawing an example line like this. This is some value, and this is some other value. Now, this is x-intercept comma 0. This is 0 comma y-intercept. Now, from this graph, you can analyze what is the slope of the line, what is x-intercept, what is y-intercept. I can ask you a line which is perpendicular to this line passing through a point. Many questions can be asked. And by seeing the graph, you can explain about slope. You can explain x-intercept. You can explain y-intercept. Now, from graphs also, you can get solutions of many problems. Or let us suppose a word problem is given and the options are graphs. So you have to analyze from graphs. Now, as I told earlier, a function which is 1, 1 or not, if you can draw the graph, a rough graph of that, and then if you think you can get the answer very easily. I told you for 1, 1 function, if you draw a line parallel to x-axis, if it is cutting the graph only at one point, then that's all. It is a 1, 1 function. If it is cutting more than 2 points or more than 1 point, it is not at all 1, 1. Or recognizing whether the given equation is a function or not. If it is not a function, it will be a relation. So if it is a relation, then if you draw a line parallel to y-axis, it will cut more than 1 point. It will cut at 2 points. So this is nothing but how to analyze from graphs. And then we have the quadratic graphs, which is a parabola, as I told you earlier. Now, a parabola, whether the concavity is upwards or the concavity is downwards. Concavity upwards happens only when the coefficient, for example, if I have given you y is equal to f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So if a is positive, then the concavity will be upwards. If a is negative, the concavity will be downwards. So you can analyze the graph. Not only analyzing this graph, whether it is cutting x-axis in 2 points, then the discriminant b squared minus 4ac will be greater than 0. If it is touching, means only at 1 point, then the discriminant will be equal to 0. If it is neither touching nor cutting, then the discriminant will be less than 0. It will have imaginary or complex roots. So this is how you can analyze from graphs. Even the polynomial graphs, apart from quadratic, you can analyze them. How many solutions are there you can identify? Now you can see that in higher education in 10th or 11th grades, you can analyze trigonometric graphs, inverse trigonometric graphs, exponential graphs, logarithmic graphs. All these are helpful, even the absolute function graphs. So not only analyzing the graphs, in graphs you have transformation. Now, what do you mean by transformation? It is either a shifting of the graph either upwards or downwards. It is a vertical shift or a horizontal shift to the left or to the right, or representing the reflection of a given parent graph. So that is also very important. So graphs, actually, when you can analyze graphs, many problems, solutions you can see by seeing the graphs. Even these type of graphs actually comes in statistics. It can be a bar diagram, it can be a picture diagram, it can be anything. So analyzing graphs is very important, especially for competitive examinations for the students. Now moving ahead, Now, how is mathematics made interesting? Now, see, mathematics actually teaching math concepts in real world life examples, that is very important. Now, maths must be understood with fun, with puzzles, with games. Now, for example, if I give you a distributive property, A into B plus C equal to AB plus AC to a child, directly, if I give this example, he may not understand this one. Then I will tell you, now let us suppose I have 10 boys in my class and 5 girls in the class. I want to distribute the 2 candies to each and every child. Then how much I need? So 10 plus 5, 15 children are there in the class. 15 into 2, 30 candies must be distributed. Now, if I multiply 2 into 10, it will be 20. 2 into 5 will be 10. So I have to give 20 candies to boys and 10 candies to girls. Totally, I need 30 candies. So by telling this real life example, then if I give this distributive property that multiplication is distributed over addition, then the student will understand the concept really very good. And he can apply this concept anywhere. For example, I can give you another example. I have a rectangle whose length is 20 units and width is 4 units. Then I can break this length into 16 and 4. Now 16 times 4 is 64 and 4 times 4 is 16. If you sum up the areas, you get the area of the rectangle, that is 80. So this is again, there is a distributive property here. 4 times 16 plus 4 is there. 64 is the area of one and 16 is the area of the other. The total area is 80. This is how a theory or a concept must be introduced to a student so that he will understand better. Now, I can tell you another example wherein you have 2 parallel lines cut by a transversal. Now, actually, when we teach this concept in lower grades, we teach these two are corresponding angles. If I mark this as 1, if I mark this angle as 2, angle 1 is equal to angle 2, I will say that these are corresponding angles. But when you move on to higher grades, you will understand about lines which are parallel. When lines are parallel, the angles of inclination is same. So when angle of inclination is same, they are nothing but corresponding angles. This is how you must digest the subject. Now, even I was telling about root of any number, it is only positive. You can't say plus or minus 4. Now, this is very important. Root 16 is always 4. It is not negative 4. Now, I'll tell you by graphs. Y square equal to x is a parabola, which is symmetrical about x-axis. Symmetrical means if whatever you have above, the same reflection is down. So if I take, let us suppose if I take 16 here, so then I can analyze y square equal to 16, y square minus 4 square equal to 0, y plus 4 into y minus 4 equal to 0. So y equal to negative 4 and positive 4. So this point will be 16 comma 4 and this point will be 16 comma negative 4. But if you analyze y is equal to root x, this graph will be present only in first quadrant. For 16, it will be 4 here. So 16 comma 4. So your x is positive or 0 and your y is positive or 0. You can say that if I square this one, I'll get this one. You can't manipulate the function. If you manipulate this particular equation, then it is a different equation, different situation, different answers. So generally, this is the mistake they do. Root 16 is always positive, which is 4. Root 25 is 5. Root 64 is 8, like that. It is not plus or minus. Actually, it is absolute value when we have to write, because absolute value when you write, it is always a positive answer. Now, even you have concepts like a sum of a positive number with its reciprocal is always greater than or equal to 2. This can be analyzed in higher grades in 11th and 12th, especially using calculus, but the same can be applied in lower grades using x plus 1 over x the whole square equal to x minus 1 over x the whole square plus 4 times x times 1 by x. So this is always positive or 0. So x plus 1 by x the whole square is greater than or equal to 4. If you take square root on both sides, it is greater than or equal to 2. The sum of a positive number with its reciprocal is always greater than or equal to 2. It will be equal to 2 when x is 1. So that is how mathematics is interesting. It must be fun. It must, if it is a fun, it is easy intake by the students. Now, this is what about mathematics, how to learn mathematics, especially. Now, learn mathematics the Turito way. Learn concepts with real life examples, as I told you earlier. So every concept, if you learn by the real life example, then you will imbibe the subject very easily. Engaging and active teaching and two-way interactions will be there in Turito. When the max teacher teaches, it will be an active teaching. Not only an active teaching, it will be an interactive section, not a lecture mode session. Not that the lecture will be continuously teaching. Even the student will be asking doubts in between whether he has understood or not, or we will explain once again in a different method. And for every problem, whatever methods are there, various methods, including his school method, will be taught so that he understands all the methods. Because when a student understands all the methods, the easy method he can apply in his competitive examinations. So how easily he can solve. So that is very important. Eliminating the misconceptions. Now, if students has a lot of misconceptions. Now, for example, root of 3 square plus 4 square is there. I can write root of 3 square plus root of 4 square. That is wrong. So he must, you see, when misconceptions are told, he will understand what are concepts. For example, a function, for a relation to be a function. If he understands when it is not a function, then he will understand function when it is. So all these things, misconceptions will be clarified. Building confidence and clarity in teaching. Now, when we teach, the confidence is given to the student by motivating the student for correct answers and not discouraging him for incorrect answers. We'll tell why this is an incorrect answer, in which direction you went, what was the wrong path you went. So that's why it led to this incorrect answers. And ditch the fear of math by building interest. And there will be a strong nexus between the student and the teacher here. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you all.
thank you for detailed explanation about the topic, and we got some questions from participants here. Let's start this Q&A session, sir.
Yeah. How
And the
to
first question.
identify the topics in which my child is fundamentally weak in. Yeah, it all depends upon the child in which grade he is. Now, let us suppose he is in the lower grade. Now, first ask questions. For example, you are dealing with some problems. Give him some problems to calculate. Identify whether it's a calculation mistake or he has not understood the topic at all. If the topic is not understood, you have to once again teach the topic, and don't teach it directly with, as I said, real life examples if they are there. If you teach with real life examples, first to see that whether the topic is understood. Then only go for the application mode, solving problems. Having a lot of problems means daily there must be a practice of problems. Then only the student will understand. So if the topic is not, if the concept is not there, there is no need of solving problems. If the concept is there, then see that whether he is doing calculation mistakes. If calculation mistakes are done, have practice of more and more problems to the student. And solving the same model problems is not important. Have a little bit of twist in the problems so that for every situation he can do the problem. That is what we have to identify. Let us suppose I am doing a volume of a cylinder. Radius is given, height is given. Now, then I will change the problem. I'll give radius and volume. I'll ask him to find the height. No, I didn't teach him actually, but I told the formula for volume when radius and height is given. Now I'm giving volume and radius, I'm asking him height. So this type of things, if you can introduce to the student, his mind will be starting thinking about the problem. Thinking maths is very important for the student. Without thinking, blindly doing the problems is not at all uh, advised to a student. So thinking must be developed right from the lower grades. Think about a problem. What is given? What is asked? That is very important. What curriculum will be followed at Turito? The curriculum will be, yeah, yes, Ravali?
Yeah, nothing, sir. Please continue.
Yeah, yeah. What curriculum will be followed at Turito? It will be nothing but the same curriculum which is going with the school. The same curriculum will be followed with us. There is no worry about it. What if my child is weak in a specific topic? can we have extra classes on that topic? I think for this, Pawan can speak on this. Yes, Pawan.
Yeah. What if my child is What if my child is weak in a specific topic? Can we have extra classes on the topic? The whole curriculum is actually pretty much customizable and it is more personalized, right? So how we approach how we help students through understanding that what is the current level that they are having, right? First we understand what are the areas that they are lacking. After that, once we understand, then we create an approach. The teacher creates an approach, then what are the topics that can be included, and the whole curriculum can be created in a way which is targeting the areas where the child is actually lacking or where he is weak, right? So in terms of mathematics itself, maybe he's having maybe if I'm talking about lower grades, he's having problems with multiplication or maybe division. He's not understanding it fundamentally or maybe not able to apply it, right, as just said. So we can create the classes including the questions and activities as well as assignments which is targeting the issue or targeting the area where he's actually weak. In terms of extra classes, so there is a whole bunch of classes that as a package we actually provide the classes. So there is a 48 class package that we provide and a 96 class package provide, in which the price is actually 560 AUD for the 48, and for the 96 it's around 900 AUD. Once you take the demo, after that a counselor will get in touch with you and he will explain you about all the aspects that are related with the curriculum itself.
Yeah,
Even
Pawan, and
next
one more
question is for you, Pawan, I think. How to join these classes and how we can know our child's day-to-day learnings.
Yes. So how to join our classes after this session? One of our teammates will get in touch with you to ask like if you are interested for the demo class or you want to conduct a demo class. So if you go for that, after that a counselor will get in touch with you who will explain you about the program more in depth and more in detail. He will resolve any kind of questions or any queries that you will be having. And how can we know our child's day-to-day learning? So there is a whole application or a portal that is provided to the parents as well as the child. So the application for the child is to access all the one-on-one live classes, homework, assignments, recorded lectures, and the application that is for the parent will get you all the analytics in terms of what are the areas the child is weak, mock test marks, KPIs, various KPIs, understanding how well he's performing, what are the topics that are being covered, and what is the teacher doing in order to improve in those specific topics. So everything you'll be able to see from the parents application. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Pawan.
Pawan. Yeah. Still, any
And no more
questions are there, Ravali?
No, sir. As of
Yeah.
now, we are not getting any questions, sir. And we'll be ending the session, sir. Thank you for detailed explanation about the topic and answering all the questions with patience. And thank you, Pawan, for explaining all regarding this course structure. And we'll be ending the session now. We'll be having a webinar session in the coming week as well. We hope to see you all again. Until then, if you have any queries, please write to us at care@turito.com. For more info, please visit our website www.turito.com. Turito makes every student to learn mindful but not handful. For better learning and better results, join Turito. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.